Storm's over.
Yes. It's all over.
Maybe we should sit. You look a bit dazed.
I'm not, but we can sit.
Oh. It's a little bit of a precarious spot, but that a bit better? I mean, we did beat the Jinn as well, but how you feeling?
Feel any better?
I told you, I'm fine.
Don't need to play tough for me. That was a hard fight. Maybe not as hard as the last time we tamed a Jinn, but still.
No comparison, I'm afraid. Half of Rind suffered then. Now I'm merely a bit tired. Thank you for coming, Geralt. I'd have had a much harder time of it on my own.
Interesting. Okay, so she's letting her guard down a little bit. Couldn't have refused, or if I'd known what this was about, I'd have her. Oh, no, couldn't have refused.
Well, never could say no to you.
Perhaps that will change now.
Well,
Feel
we'll have to see.
That anything's different?
I expected... I don't know what I expected, actually. A bit of vertigo, perhaps.
I mean, you are standing on the ledge of
I
a
thought
humongous mountain, so vertigo is
You'd
maybe
become a stranger
not
to
that
me,
unlikely.
that I'd look at you and not feel a thing. But it's not like that at all. Nothing's changed.
Ah, see? Oh, that's
Jinn might have
sweet.
cheated us after all.
Why?
Because I don't feel that anything's changed either. I love you, Yen.
Oh.
And I love you.
So, oh, okay. I was gonna say, it looked like there's just gonna be this really awkward, like, so what now? We're kind of on this big mountain, and how do we get out of here?
It can't be all sweetness and light.
Strange. Done that so many times. But it felt like our first kiss to me.
It was, in a way. Besides, once you say I love you, a kiss has to taste differently.
I actually wonder if they've ever said that to each other before. I mean, they, like we saw, they've been in a relationship for 20 years, and they've been sort of raising a child, air quotes, of sorts in Ciri, but, not sure. I mean, because both of them are so walls up, guarded, don't want to show any sign of vulnerability. You know, Yennefer just saying, I'm a little bit tired. It's like, oh my goodness, she just said she's tired. This is breaking news. So for her to be like, oh, I love you is, obviously, that's a big step further. And she may not have said that before. Geralt may not have either. Let's not go there. But I am kind of wondering what happens now.
Got any plans?
That depends what you mean. We must find Ciri, and then defeat the hunt. But I doubt the world will end if we sit here a while.
What are you trying to say? Thought we were all, you know, trying to rush to save Ciri? Now you're saying none of that matters?
Why, it's lovely.
That is a beautiful view.
Think the spirits of Skellige favor us.
I mean, that Jinn didn't really like us very much, but other than that guy, sure. No, not another portal. I hate portals.
Next time we go on horseback.
A horse would never make it down that mountain.
Challenge accepted.
What now?
Well,
Been there, done
I'm
that.
due to appear in Vizima.
Is that so? I assume you mean with Emir. Emperor. Let's talk before you leave. Think we probably want to talk before you leave? That sounds pretty important, and we probably want to confirm what our plan is before you head out.
Yen, what happened back there?
It was very nice. Let's not ruin it by hashing out the details.
It's a very Yennefer way to respond to that.
Collect Uma from him, then we'll ride for Kaer Morhen.
I shall join you as quickly as I can.
See you, Yen. Take care of yourself.
Oh. All right. Mission accomplished. Also, where are we? Now we're in Caer. Okay. So let's see. We were on Hindersfjall. We were here. And we went there. Then we went there. Then we ended up here. And now we're here. Okay. Yeah. Sounds about right. Oh, yeah, and this is the room we saw previously.
Our megascope.
The megascope.
Guess she never goes anywhere without it. As Philippa Eilhart said, megascopes and toothbrushes. Deeply personal possessions.
I'm kind of curious if Yennefer would have any comments on stuff that we're investigating if we were to go through and look at all of her belongings like this, but... Let's see. We have, of course, been here before. But, here, I'll see. We played you at Gwent, yes. I know that.
What smells so delicious?
But what smells so delicious? Also... Okay, you also had Mandrake Cordial and Cherry Cordial, so we could have bought these ingredients earlier, because these are the two things we need for the White Gulls. But I think that wasn't as much on our radar at the time. I do also like that we have exactly 26,000 coins. So in some ways, I feel like, God, no, we shouldn't buy this stuff now. But now we should get a few more. Okay, maybe not 13, but I do still think, wow, this is expensive. I do still think that we need a few more White Gulls, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's maybe not the White Gull itself, but the other crafting materials that you get out of the White Gulls we need on a few occasions for some things. So let's just pick up that. Maybe pick up all of them while... we'll just pick up all of them while we're here. And then hopefully that means that we can... Oh, and we should probably sell
so delicious.
Stuff to you as well. Because I assume we have a little bit of that. But, yeah, hopefully at this point we're close enough to crafting all of those things that require White Gulls and White Gull ingredients that we no longer need to purchase this stuff. Or if we do, it's very little left. Okay, so I'm just going to sell basically all the hides. And then that silverware, I'm assuming it might even break down into silver. Because it can be sold for a significant sum, namely 3 coins, or dismantle. I think we'll dismantle it. Okay. So in that case, I think we're good here. Everything else we probably do want to break down. Yeah. Unless there's other stuff here that we... I mean, like, food and drink we could try just selling you a little bit of these things here, I suppose. We actually don't have too many of them. Maybe even the Everloose. That's actually worth a lot, if you consider that we have 35 of them. That sort of makes up for at least some of the investment that we made there. I don't think we need much of it, right? I mean, maybe you need it for some crafting recipes, but I think we've done just about all of the big ones, or at least started to do just about all the big ones, and the last big remaining things that we needed were those 2 alcoholic beverages that we just purchased from this guy. Oh, we could also sell the saddle that we picked up, which is kind of heavy, and it's worth a bit, so why not? Okay. I think that puts us in a decent place.
Thanks for sparing a moment.
Okay. It does kind of sound like this place is possessed by a ghost. But let's take a quick look at alchemy, because we should now be able to craft additional things. And it's mostly the White Gull that we're looking for. And let's see, we can make 14 more of them. It's actually going to be Arenaria and Cherry Cordial that'll be the limiting factors here, but I'm surprised it's Arenaria. Let's see, so I think it's mostly things like Negredo that we need here, but we should confirm before we move forward. Negredo, Rebus. Okay, now it's a lot of stuff actually. Either double Negredo. Favorite seems like almost everything. Okay, so double Aether. Oh, hold on. Nope, we still want to be there. 2 of these. Oh, we need the White Gulls first, of course. I think it's pretty safe to say just make all the White Gulls. It's a question of, do we keep any White Gulls? in their white gull form? Or do we turn them all into other crafting ingredients that require white gull? So make a bunch. Imagine if you didn't have to create a new white gull every time that you wanted to create one of these new crafting materials, if they functioned like any other potion. That would make things quite different. Make things a lot cheaper, because you saw, we just dropped, I think, over 1,000 coins on this stuff. So, let's see, we need a couple of you. Let's see, we need at least one of you. At least one of you. At least one of you. And then let's take it from here. See where that leaves us. So make this. Okay, yeah, and we already see we're gonna need another Negredo. I thought we made 2 of those, but maybe I made 2 of the wrong thing. Hopefully not. I can stream. Northern Wind, I don't even remember that potion. And we got this one. And that means all we need is 1 more Negredo, at least for the explosives. And then I think most of the other things at this point are just going to be stuff that needs more mutagens. So I think this will get us pretty far along. Wait, I already forget which one it was that we needed. Negredo, right? Negredo, okay. Sure thing. Let us make it. And so maybe we don't need any more white gulls. Would be really nice. Then we could stop having to make a point of purchasing all the necessary ingredients to make it. Every time we come across someone who can give us those ingredients. And, okay. No. See oh, no, there are still potions that need it, for sure. Okay, so Superior Black Blood, Superior Cat, Full Moon, all these things. Yeah, no, I take it back. I think there's a lot more that we need in that case. Superior White Honey, but this is one that clears toxicity, and we don't really... I just don't get why you would ever need to upgrade this at all. Swallow, I think we definitely do want to upgrade that, because that's a big one. Get another Vitriol. Okay, so this is going to be expensive, because that's a white gull and 2 ingredients you make using white gulls, so that is 3 white gulls in total that it takes in order to make it. But I think it is one of our best potions, so probably worthwhile to make that happen. Then, is that right? The generation of adrenaline points, maybe. Increases maximum vitality. Heals vitality by amount equal to current toxicity. What? Grant sight until darkness and immunity to hypnosis? Wait, ever been hypnotized? What? What? That's a thing? What, like an Axie? Basically, if someone tries to use Axie against us? Is that what they mean? I don't know. I'm just trying to prioritize which one seems like it's the most powerful at this stage, because I don't think we'll be able to get all these. I'm thinking Full Moon looks tempting here. That'd be Cabrith. Let's go for that. Cabrith, here you are. So the list grows smaller, which is a good sign. Now, I mean, if it gives additional duration, that would be convenient, because we do use Cat Potion fairly regularly. I mean, it doesn't say it increases duration, but I wouldn't necessarily rule that out. Then the adrenaline points, potentially. Black Blood, I suppose. Oh, they just start bleeding when they're near us? Don't even need to attack us? Hunter's Blood injures and knocks them back when they wounded. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think we go with Black Blood next, then. And this was, Rebus. That a shot. Now there's only 3 remaining. Could go Superior Cat, Marble Forest is the Adrenaline one, and then the Toxicity stuff. We'll go Cat, just because, like I said, we at least use it, which is more than we can say about many other potions. So, sure. Do that. Then at this stage, we're out of white gulls. So that means unless we meditate right now, buy more from this guy, and then craft more stuff, we're probably done for now. But I mean, that is kind of tempting because we have 2 more. I would love to just be able to check this off and go, done. Don't need to worry about the looming white gull scarcity crisis that has been plaguing Skellige and the Northern Realms for eons, really. So let's give it a shot. Let's do some meditation. I don't think it takes too long. Well, I mean, like, we'll just do it here. Like, sure, we'll meditate for basically 24 hours. We'll restock some of our stuffs. And now it's all lively as well. Presumably you're still selling that stuff. And that means we will continue to make you rich.
What smells so delicious?
No, you have not restocked. Interestingly. You have not restocked. Okay. Never mind. So long.
Thanks for sparing a moment.
Really was just a moment on this occasion. Okay, so now we're looking to get out of here. I suppose this is one way to get out of here. Then, let's see. There are still many things that we want to do on Hindersfjall. So, that quest is called Ugly Baby. Oh dear. And that's the main quest, no less. So I was saying in Wolf's Clothing, probably next in our list. Otherwise, I mean, is there anything? Let's just take a look if there's anything on Ardskellig near us at the moment, in which case, might as well do that now, because we're on a different island, obviously. But, where is this? I don't remember this one. Is this also on Hindersfjall? Seems to be directing us toward a fast travel spot, suggesting that it's in an entirely different area. Geralt. What? On a small island in Skellige, Geralt found a diary written by refugees from far-off land. The ship had wrecked, and the fate of its passengers was unknown. Geralt hoped at least some had survived, and he would one day have his chance to return the diary to them. I do vaguely remember, or I do remember, when we at least got that quest, but it doesn't appear as though they are in Skellige, where we actually tracked them down, so I'm surprised that doesn't say multiple locations. Because it does kind of sound like it's really multiple locations. I don't think we've seen Freya's temple. But I thought we heard someone say that's on Hindersfjall. Okay. Yeah, this little area with alchemy supplies over to the side. I do remember we saw that, and when we were near Freya's garden, might have been considering going there, but decided no, we had more time-sensitive things, or at least what seemed to be more time-sensitive things that we wanted to attend to. So, I think in that case... Oh, was there a Witcher contract here as well? I mean, there's missing miners still. Then there's the cave. We're just heading back to Hindersfjall in this case. Doesn't look like there's much other than potentially, like, question marks. But these are all ones that you guys were saying we'll end up finding on a future occasion. Although there was, I mean, there's a few Witcher School gear pieces. Like, there's one over here, and no, I'm pretty sure we investigated this at one point in time. So, I think we have a few odds and ends we'll want to clean up back in Ardskellig at some point in time, like these question marks. And there's Witcher School stuff here as well, I think. The Lost Miners. I think that's all going to wait, though. I think we still go with Hindersfjall now. I don't know who's making that sound, but are you okay?
Friends we show heart, foes we show heart.
Easy, dude. Easy where you're swinging that thing.
Did you sever his head?
And then we just walk by someone who goes, "Did you sever his head?" Yeah, you guys just gotta chill a little bit, okay? Just gotta chill. Do we actually... Oh, tell you what. You should see a doctor about that. But for you,
something from my stash.
we were just saying that we are actually going to need some Arenaria to get more of those white gulls, and I assume you have some. You have seen some out in the wild every now and again, but it is uncommon enough. Might be worth picking up a few, just in case. And I think that's about it. Because I think we're getting close
So long.
to wrapping up basically all the alchemy we might have to do. And of course, there's a non-zero chance we continue to get more ingredients, or more recipes, I should say, later on. But seems like it's been slowing down on that front as of late. Okay, so let's fast travel. Let's get back to Hindersfjall. And we could even check out this quest here, which is the one that we started doing very briefly. And that one we failed for a second when we walked away and tried to go into Larvik instead of going into a cave with some people. So we could do that now if we're willing to drop everything to make it happen. Which is maybe not a bad idea, because it is... We could basically go to Larvik, check this out, and then make our way over back to Freya's Garden, and maybe even go here in the meantime. Well, this was I think this is a level 25 quest, and so we're looking at levels and try to do it efficiently. Then, like, technically speaking, we should probably do this one last and get the lower level stuff done first. So I'm thinking we go here. We may just run by the taken by a lass or something like that quest, that spot, and come back to that later on. I don't think we spent too much time here, because we were focusing pretty directly on doing stuff with Yennefer when we were in here before. So yeah, we haven't even looted stuff in here, necessarily. May not have spoken to everybody. You know, the usual stuff we do when we explore new towns. Steal from all the inhabitants. The usual. Hydrate ourselves. This music is kind of tense for being in a town.
The things that went on in Croc's.
That's just me. There's a non-zero chance we could run into other people who have additional quest for us as well. What you guys looking at? Huh? Now you're just staring at us, which is creepy. No, thank you. Okay, some stuff to loot in here as well.
I recognize your type a mile away.
Oh, what's that mean? Huh? What are you trying to say? Oh, over here. Do we ever actually use alchemy paste for anything? Or is it basically just an item that isn't actually used for any crafting recipes and is more or less just the equivalent of 5 coins or however many it is whenever you try to sell it? So it kind of feels like that. Have we spoken to you, merchant dude?
Greetings. Looking to buy?
We have not.
Show me your wares.
Okay, what is this? Looks like a saddle? Okay, but it's worse than the ones we have. That's fine. We do have some gear we could potentially sell. Nothing that's like... Well, I shouldn't say nothing amazing. We do have some half-decent things that are worth a little bit. It's actually kind of interesting. The armor's obviously better because it's higher level. A lot of Axie... I really don't use Axie very often, so Axie side intensity is maybe not a huge deal. Then we're losing the attack power, losing some other resistances as well from the feline armor. So I think it's probably still that we're looking to upgrade the feline armor more so than replace it with other things. So maybe we'll continue to hold on to this stuff for the time being and not look to sell too much. Oh, but if you could say... we even sold most of our junk recently. So I think we're looking pretty good there. I mean, we picked up a little bit more. So sure, we'll get rid of a couple of skins. That's about it, though. But we'll play you at Gwent. And we were talking about how it seems like at this stage, we may have basically exhausted the pool of cards from which we can earn rewards outside of specific Gwent-related quests. So these random people like this, we're not really expecting to find any cards if we beat them. But practice, like you guys were saying. And I mean, there's the coins on the line, and probably a million other things we could do to get 5 coins more quickly than playing a round of Gwent. But we'll try playing another round with our monsters deck, which we're still pretty new to using. So I think if we were to practice any specific faction, that is probably the best faction to practice. We're going first. Okay, we have a bunch of Arakuses, and oh, so this is the problem. Is we have several of the cards from our muster groups. We don't want to have multiple Arakai, we just want one. We only want one vampire, and we only want one crone, but we have multiple of all of them. So, which one do we try to get rid of? Because we can only get rid of, or can only switch 2 cards. So, I think we try to get rid of a crone. Okay. It's a range nerf, right? Yeah. Well, we don't have any range cards, I don't think, so should be pretty safe. And I think we go for getting rid of the vampires next. And I was going to say, if we traded into another one of the muster units, that would have been rather unfortunate, but I don't think we did. I think we got, was it the Drog? Pretty sure it was the Drog that we ended up getting there. Okay. So we go first. I think because we are very prone to Scorches when we have a bunch of units that we play with exactly the same strength whenever we use a muster, and we don't have any medics to bring them back, we very much want to lead off with heroes. And Aaron is interesting, because it can give +1 to all units on the row. If we played in the melee row, and we have all of our musters going off the melee row, that actually adds up to quite a lot. But I think we probably try to save that for now, and gauge how hard we want to go in round 1 before we commit that much. Okay. Oh, what is your leader ability? Because I see you playing siege cards. Makes me wonder if you're going to play the Commander's Horn with the siege row, but no, you can clear our weather effects. Which is a little unfortunate, because we do have a weather effect here. And we can also do the same thing that your leader ability does with our clear weather. So potentially 2 dead cards in our hand, and one of these 2 Arakai is also a dead card, because we'd like to have it in our deck, not in our hand. So, for that reason, this hand is a little bit questionable. Perhaps even more than a little bit questionable. It is questionable. It's not terrible. We still have some decent leaders, and like we were saying, Karen plus our muster units in the melee row is strong. But is that enough? So, and remind me, our leader ability is? Is it a melee double? It's a melee double. Okay. So they went with a siege double with Commander's Horn card, not the leader ability, like we were saying. They don't have that leader ability, but because it looks like if they're playing the Commander's Horn now, in theory, they're capable of pumping out a lot of points on this turn, and we'd have to throw in a lot to try to beat them in round 1. So I'm almost tempted to pass here when we have our 8-point advantage and basically dare them to try to pass us. It means they'll have to go down a card. However, the problem is because they're Northern Realms, when they win a round, they draw another card. So against this specific opponent, it's not great. I think in that case, and we do want to make sure that we get one non-hero down there to take advantage of our leader ability, which allows us to keep 1 card on the playing field from 1 round to the next. I think we play the Crones now, because the Crones are now safe from being scorched after they've doubled a unit up to 12, and if we're going to keep a unit out there, we'd like it to be a 6 strength unit rather than a 4 strength unit. So it probably beats the Arakai on that front. I wish we had something to steal that card, because it would be great to steal it. But as things currently stand, I'm not even sure we have any cards. Well, we must have decoys in the monster deck, right? I don't think we have any medics, but we must have decoys, because those can go in any deck. So now I am quite tempted to pass. I mean, yes, you did play a spy, so now you certainly have more cards than us. But it would take you a fair bit at this point to catch up to us. The K-Rid is becoming more of a viable play as we continue to build up more cards in the melee row. But I think I'd still like to save the Arakai and the Vampires and use those plus K-Rid in either round 2 or round 3. So let's stick to this here, and then we'll probably also double the melee row in that round. We're hoping that this takes them 2 cards or more to catch up to us, but if they have a bunch of cards in the siege row to play, then that may not be the case. Spies are also tricky, because that means you'll continue to build on your cards. Okay, didn't expect you to do that. You built a ton of card advantage by playing only your spies, yes, but I kind of thought you were going to take our early pass as an opportunity for you to instead just throw down a bunch of high strength cards and take a round 1 victory. So the other problem is, like I was saying, we in theory could possibly find a way to get a... Well, actually, we don't have any way to draw additional cards. I was going to say, it might be possible for us to find a way to get one of our decoys and steal a spy, but with no card draw, that's not going to happen. Once they're in our graveyard with no medics, we absolutely can't make it happen. Well, unless we have Yennefer in our hand. She's a hero who's a medic. So I suppose we do have 1 medic, but we don't have Yennefer in our hand, and we don't have any card draw, so again, it's not going to happen. So spies are not gonna be a factor for us, at least. Now the question is, do we try to win this round here, or do we save up for round 3? And I think we actually want to save up for round 3, because if we pass now, then we will still have 6 strength out on the playing field, because Wispess is still out there, and she'll carry over into round 3, and that means our opponent needs to play at least 1 card, if not more, to try to pass us here. So I think we stick with this. I think so. If it takes them... We're hoping it takes them 2 cards. If it takes them 2 cards to pass us, then on net we are benefiting from waiting till round 3. But on this occasion, that means they're playing a card, and then they're going to draw a card. And so on net, they're sticking with the same amount. Still 10 cards going into round 3 here. But they go first, which is usually a bad thing. Unless we scorch our card, which is a little unfortunate, but it could have been worse, because Scorch would have been devastating if they had used it against our full row of Vampires or Arakai. I think we still probably do want to play our heroes first. Ballista, okay. And we may have also, one of the reasons why I wanted to pass early in round 1 was because I was a little fearful of their siege Commander's Horn. And so now that we've split up some of their siege units from the Commander's Horn, those siege units are not nearly as good. So now we're not fighting Commander's Horn versus Commander's Horn. We're fighting with our Commander's Horn against nothing on their side. So our double should be pretty big. We could also deliberately bide some time by throwing down something like our Impenetrable Fog, and it's probably just going to bait out their leader ability. But now that they've played a 6 strength unit, we are free to play the Arakai and possibly the Vampires as well, to tell you the truth. I think let's lead off with the Arakai. And one of them just gets played from our hand, which is why we didn't really want to see that many in our hand there. Now, if we just Scorch, it'd be a good time to play it now. But we see why they wanted to play it immediately. Now, I think for the Vampires, all of them are 4 strength except for 1. One of them is 5 strength, I believe. I think the Catacan is. So all of them, at the moment at least, are Scorch-proof. Once we double them with our leader ability, they won't be. But, I mean, we're kind of just hoping they don't have any more Scorches remaining, because they have more cards than us, so it's not like we can just wait it out until they've passed and then throw in the Vampires or throw in the double on our last turn when they can't respond to it. So I think we kind of have to do this here. Other dangerous thing would be a dragon, which at the moment would destroy the Catacan. because that is the 5 strength unit, highest strength unit in our melee row. But, okay. So now, I mean, we could also throw down the Kairin, although that would bump up the Catechin to 6 strength. Then he would be tied as a Scorch target for all these units here, which presumably our opponents still wouldn't want to do. But I think this is probably the time where we throw down the Impenetrable Fog, or maybe even Clear Skies first. It does precisely nothing right now, but we want to play this first, and then play the Impenetrable Fog. Otherwise, we're removing the Impenetrable Fog. I mean, our opponent's probably still going to remove it with their leader ability, but we'll see. So we're doing this to try to get them to play their stronger cards now, to try to make it either less likely for them to use Scorch, because we don't want them to remove the Catechin, or, yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, really. So now we throw this down. They'll probably throw down their leader ability. No, they will play a card that gets nerfed. Strange. So now the only things we have remaining are either Kairin or leader ability. And I think we do Kairin now, because that will, like we said, tie our Catechin with all their siege weapons. But presumably they won't want to Scorch that, because that's much worse for them than it is for us. Now they go leader ability. And now we're going to use our leader ability. And fortunately, at least, if they do still have a Scorch remaining, only thing that will go down will be the Catechin. But hopefully they do not. And we'll just sit on this 105. Even if they have 4 cards remaining, that's going to be hard for them to catch us unless they have a melee nerf would really be the worst. Dropping all these cards down to 1, they get a little bit boosted still from the Kairin, and then they get doubled, but no, they cannot catch up, even with their 3-card advantage. So, there you see, monsters, deck is getting good. And we're thinking, yeah, not going to see any additional cards. Okay, so, as expected there. And then, was this the... Have we been here? Oh, this is where we met Yennefer previously. Out of curiosity.
Yeah, what can I get you?
Do you also happen to have the
What are you
valuable
Let me have a look.
alcoholic beverages that we need? Is that a cherry cordial? That is a cherry cordial. You don't have the Mandrake cordial, so I mean we could get part of it, but not all of it. We could do it now, but it's not going to make a huge difference because we just only have part of the puzzle.
Farewell.
What's up, Joel? We got the Gwent going on. That guy wasn't too bad, although with some pretty big card advantage, was a little bit concerned that he was gonna be able to catch up to us after we threw down our big stuff going on in the melee row. Okay, let's see. Have we spoken to you
How
yet?
can I be of service? In times like these, don't pay to save coins on weapons.
We've not played you at Gwent either. But we've also not seen
Show me
your
what you have.
goods. Let's see what you have. Now, what is... Hold on. This chestplate looks awfully shiny. Witch Hunter's armor. Interesting. Would we actually look like a Witch Hunter if we did this? That'd be kind of cool. But it is medium armor for the most part. We've been trying to use light armor. It is much higher level than our current armor, so it is much better in terms of armor. But it's kind of tempting. But I still kind of think the best thing for us to do is to just upgrade our existing armor. It's just that we need to be back in Novigrad to make that happen, so we've kind of just been waiting it out until we have reason to go back there. Which is probably going to be pretty soon, because we're wrapping up with Skellige soon. No worries. Doing well. Doing well. Good to see you. How you doing? What is this? Eternal Fire Executioner's armor. Yeah, maybe don't wear that. Maybe don't wear that. I'm thinking instead... Ooh. These gloves are just 6 levels higher than our existing gloves, but are otherwise identical. Why not buy these? Let's nab them. And then let's sell some of our other stuff that we weren't really planning on using, because I think this is probably the best person for us to make those sales to. These And some of these aren't going to be terribly valuable, but if we were considering transitioning over to these trousers, but similar story, we were saying, well, we like the attack power from our Witcher School gear, so we don't really want to abandon that. We're deliberately sacrificing a bit defensively in order to gain more offensively, so yeah, we'll take it still. Could sell, I mean, we were deliberately holding on to these in case we did feel the need to make such a switch and prioritize defense over offense. Could probably just sell these now, though, because I think we're close enough now that it's going to be fairly soon that we'll make it back to Novigrad and make those upgrades, so I think we can probably abandon ship on some of that other stuff that we were holding on to for a while. This is just a lower level version of gear that we currently have equipped, so I think it's safe to dump that. And safe to dump this as well, I think. Random trousers, higher armor, but otherwise not great. Ready to slow down after a full day work? Yeah, nice to unwind a little bit, right? Okay, so let's not sell the gloves that we just purchased. That's probably not a good idea. Then we could potentially... Whoa! See if we can break some of these down. 81 crit damage is not bad. I mean, we are trying to prioritize the crit damage, so it does catch my attention. It's not as good as our existing sword, but it's not that far off in either crit damage or base damage, so does at least raise an eyebrow. And then, yeah, when it comes to all these relic swords, they're valuable, yes, but you can potentially break them down into some decent components, so I would want to at least double-check what the story is there before we jump into selling any of that stuff. So maybe take a quick look at any of that, and my rule of thumb is usually if we get any full-blown precious gems out of it, then that probably means that it is worth breaking it down. If not, or if it gives you just a steel ingot and a haft, it's probably worth selling it. Other straps, steel ingot, could probably sell this. Yeah, I think most of our relic stuff, outside of our Witcher School sword, probably pretty safe to sell after all. I think we're doing pretty well on repairs, but let's see, repair... Isn't there a repair all button, or repair equipped? Repair all equipped items? Yeah, it's not much. Don't think we need to repair things that we're probably about to sell. So yeah, let's just finish off by selling the other stuff that we're holding on to here, because pretty valuable. Yeah, I actually don't think this guy's going to be able to afford all this stuff, but we're going to dump it on him, or at least try to dump it on him, nonetheless. And let's see, you have 99 remaining. Can we sell this at least? Yes. Okay, I think that's just about as close as we're going to get. Alright, now let's play you at Gwent as well. And
what would you say
the
to
usual.
a few rounds of Gwent?
What would you say? I'd say let's start the game. Excuse me? Your leader ability cancels our leader ability? That is rude? How dare you? Okay, so clear weather we may or may not want. Mysterious Elf is big, that's our best spy. And I think our only spy, come to think of it, for monsters. Dandelion doubles the melee row. We have a ton going on in the melee row, so that's not bad. Although, our leader ability would normally be duplicative with that, except our leader ability, as we were just saying, got canceled. So you know what? Yeah, Dandelion, pretty good. We don't want to have multiple of our muster units. We want to have just one in our hand and the rest hanging out in our decks. That probably means we're looking at getting rid of the Garcane and one of the Crones, and then we'll have Yennefer, who's, I believe, our only medic, the Dragon for a melee Scorch, and then Ciri. It's actually looking pretty decent, depending on what we get when we switch these around. Scorch to remove the highest units on the playing field. Situationally, could be very good. And lastly, we swapped, one Crone and got the other? Okay, so that one we struck out a bit on, but overall, I think we're doing okay. And we go first. So, I think I do like to lead off with heroes, just in case our opponent is going to try to follow up with a quick Scorch, and we have a Scorch ourselves. So I think what we do here is we play Ciri first, and might play the Mysterious Elf next. Because we just want to be, basically, yeah. immune to any scorches, and watch as our opponent ideally plays really strong cards, such as this one that they just dropped, Heavy Zeracanian Fire Scorpion, and just grin as we delete them. So I think we'll drop you as expected, as planned. See what we draw into. Another Scorch and another hero. Okay. In the story right now, we are... I guess, first of all, have you played The Witcher 3? Should I be wary of how I'm describing what's happening? Do I need to be careful of spoilers and whatnot? Or can I just say everything that's happening? You played it? Okay, great. So, we have finished the main quest on Skellige, and we're just wrapping up some other side quests on Hindersfjall. So we just did Yennefer's side mission, where we helped her capture a djinn, and now we're looking at probably trying to go back to see what we can do with Morkvarg after this, is what we're thinking, and or going into a cave with some dudes who we're looking for some help. Those are the two things that are probably next on our list. Either one of those. And in terms of cards, yeah, I've been doing actually a lot of the Gwent standalone game, which has been a lot of fun. There's potentially an expansion coming out tomorrow, but they've been a little bit unclear about when those are all happening, so not entirely sure, but if so, then I'll definitely be doing some of that pretty soon. As for right now, though, I think we drop this draw here. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, you know, there's of course that barrier to entry of when you're just starting off, you feel like, well, I feel like I have to learn it, and is it worth it to put in the time and effort to get good, so to speak? I mean, like, obviously, it's not like Dark Souls, get good, like, fight this boss 100 times before I can defeat it, but, yeah, I think I like it a lot, and it did take me a little while to get to the point where I felt confident with, you know, building actual decks on my own and winning with any sort of consistency, but I think there's a lot of... You can see yourself improve as time goes on, which is cool. Let's see, and now they've thrown Spy on our side, which we don't have any decoys to get to swipe it, unfortunately. I mean, if we were greedy, we would wait on the Scorch and try to see if they play other 10 strength cards and then delete those. But since we have 2 in our hand, I think we we just can't get too clever with it. Otherwise, we're gonna get caught in a situation in which we're gonna have to Scorch our own units, which obviously is not what we want to have happen. Alright, I'm not loving how many Spires you're giving us, though. We might even want to pass here. We might want to pass here because we have a 30-point lead and basically dare our opponent to try to pass us. They have card advantage because they played so many spies, but this time, we do have a medic. And that medic in Yennefer can play one of those spies from our graveyard, so I'm eyeing this guy here. Probably going to play him in either round 2 or round 3. Depending on how our opponent responds to us passing here, they may immediately pass and just hand us the round 1 victory, in which case, obviously, we'll take it. Otherwise, they may do this. And the question now is just how many cards is it going to take them before they can pass us? Because the answer is it's taken them a lot. They had card advantage, but not anymore. It took them so many cards to catch up to us that actually... Oh, well, that backfired. It took them so many cards to catch up to us that they actually needed to play one more card in order... Or they went to card down in order to win round 1. The reason why I said that backfired was because Monster's leader ability, or Monster's special ability, is that they keep a card on the playing field between rounds. And I was saying I wanted to play this card from our graveyard using our medic, except that was a card that stayed on the playing field. You can't play from our graveyard if it's still on the playing field. So that didn't work out so great for us. Okay. So, in that case, I think what we want to do is we want to go How hard do we want to go in this round versus round 3? Because we obviously lost round 1, so we need to win both these rounds. We just don't want to overcommit in this round and not have enough power remaining for round 3. So I'm thinking what we do here is we want to get some cards out here that we actually want to have stay on the playing field, because we don't want this guy sticking around. That happened last time. It was not good. We want you to actually go into our discard pile so we can play you in round 3 using Yennefer. So I think we play the Crones. Oh no, actually, Crones would be the highest units out there, so they would be Scorchable. We don't do that. We play the Vampires. There's a lot of them, so this is a big play. I don't love it, because we are committing pretty hard when we do this. They may immediately pass, and then we're just going to say, well, yep. We're just going to say, okay, well, sure. We threw down 25 strength when all we needed was 6. But, let's see. I think now we'll pass, and we're just hoping that any one of these vampires stays out here rather than you, because we want you to be the person that goes to our graveyard, and then we play you with Yennefer. So it's what, a 1 in 6-ish chance? Oh my goodness. What? No. Is it always the card furthest to the left? I don't know. I'm relatively new to playing as monsters, at least in the Witcher 3 version of Gwent. So I don't know if that was actually guaranteed, because if not, then that was... I thought there were 6 cards down there in the melee row. I think that was a 1 in 6 chance, and we happened to get it. I'm very displeased about. Oh dear. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can still make it happen. We do still have Yennefer. We can still play a card from our graveyard. It's just going to be a much worse card. Well, I mean, we do have another spy, just this spy is not as good as the spy that we have currently hanging out there. So, I mean, the answer is probably still you, in terms of which card we want to play from our graveyard. And I think we might want to do that first, because this way, we want to start off with you, because when we play the spy, we'll draw 2 additional cards, and we want to know what cards we have to work with as soon as possible so that we can start planning around them. So I like playing the spies early for that reason. So we'll do this. We'll get you. We'll play you. It does give our opponent 7 strength, which is a fair bit. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we got a second Arrakis, or actually a first Arrakis, I should say, which is big, because that is another set of muster that we can summon here, and we only have one of them, which is the ideal situation, because that means that we play one, the rest just come swarming out of our deck. That's the way you want it to happen, unlike here, where we have 2 out of our 3 muster units of the Crone variety in our hand, and only one of them is going to get summoned from our deck, which is not great. Okay, so let's see. In terms of order of operations, we could even use the dragon here, and it would destroy the highest unit in the melee row, as long as the melee row has 10 or more strength on the opponent's side, and it does. It would destroy a 7 strength unit, which is solid, but I think we might actually want to go with the Arrakises first, because we also have this Scorch that we could use that would also remove this 7 strength card. So we'll give ourselves that flexibility still. Oh, and look at this. Okay. So these guys have Type on, so they'll get doubled whenever you play the same card next to it. They could even potentially have another one and double them again. But the reason why my eyes lit up a little bit when they did that was because if we were to play Scorch now, this Scorch would remove this spy. Then, next turn, we can play the dragon, and that would remove both of these cards because they would be tied for the highest units in the melee row. So there's a chance that something happens in the meantime that messes with that strategy, but I like the way that looks. So let's do it. Okay, so what do they do now? Yes, perfect! Do it! We're gonna destroy all of them. Okay, and now... time for us to exact some revenge. Bye-bye. And now they return the favor. Okay, fair enough. You destroy our 7 strength dragon. Yeah, fine. I think our play was still, what, 27? At least on our most recent Scorch, and then 7 on our one before that, so I think we still won out on that exchange. Now we have the ability to double the melee row, with the ability to summon 4 cards to the melee row. I mean, they did just play a Scorch. If they play another one, then suddenly we're losing all these guys, because all these guys are tied for the highest units out there, which is not great. But we don't have too many ways to stop that from happening. That is kind of the weakness of Muster, is you're going to get a bunch of cards out there with the same amount of strength. So now it's going to be the Crones that get destroyed from Crone, or from Scorch, rather, if they have another one. More Type Bond units. We'll see if you have more to play next to this guy to double them again. But not too concerned about that anymore. I think with one card remaining, should have this one locked down. Now let's double the melee row. Then we'll give +1 to all the units in the melee row with the Karen. Okay, well, yeah, sure, you did have another one of those, but yeah, it's not a problem. We've already got this one, but now we proceed to BM and rub it in their faces. And, oh, look at that, exactly 100. Okay, and unfortunately, our clear weather is not going to do anything because there are no weather effects out there, but we'll do it for the sake of doing it. And there we go. Smash him into the ground.